Hello and welcome to this segment of Daybreak Africa and KAFTAN TV. My name is Yetunde Alanamu, and today we'll be discussing citizen participation in government. How important it is for citizens to participate in government, the benefit of citizens to participate in government. And my guest for today is Barrister Sharafa Okewoye. How are you doing, sir? And
I'm fine.
How's your day going, Barrister?
Bless God.
Okay, to start the discussion, what can you talk about citizen participation in government?
Well, we must understand that any government of any state has to do with the people, because government is established for the purpose of bettering the lot of the people. So that means that it's a two-way thing, government and the people. And it's important for the people to be involved in the government of their states. So their participation is key to any achievement any government can lay claim to. Because if you don't know what are the needs of the people you are governing, it might be difficult for you to determine what are their needs. So the people's participation is, of course, central, key to any government that wants to succeed in governance of the people.
Okay, how far do you think Nigeria have come when it comes to citizens participating in government?
Well, first thing is that when you say government, particularly democratic governments, the power or the sovereignty belongs to the people. It means every government derives their power from the people. It then means people must be involved. People must participate actively in the governance of the states. Yes, people have surrendered their power, their right to the government, the leaders, but it does not foreclose their participation in government. And we must understand that Nigerian Constitution 1999, as amended, actually made provision for people to be involved, to participate in the government of their nation, of their country. So it's now left for the people to see that as an avenue for them to contribute to the development, progress, and success of any government that is in power at any given time.
Okay, so do you not think the governments are carrying the citizen along in government?
Well, it depends on how we are looking at it. Nigerian democracy is still evolving. We must understand that. And it's not like developed democracy in which they have provided mechanism for feedback. But in Nigerian context, we are not actually having mechanism for feedback. What I mean is that an avenue, a platform, an opportunity for the governor and the governors to interact. There's no such platform. Ordinarily, we're supposed to have a constitutional provision that will be enforceable if our government fails or refuses to carry us along, but we don't have such opportunity. And so far, so good. I think there are various platforms and fora for people to actually have their say in the governance of their state or their nation. For instance, members of the House of Assembly, National Assembly, they have what they call town hall meetings with their constituents on a regular basis, in which they give their people feedback. Though in most cases, our governors, our president, our chairman of councils normally use mass media to actually communicate what they are doing to the people. But people are not actually given opportunity to actually have input, direct input in the governance of their state, of their nation, which I think is an area that our legislatures should look into. There must be a law that will make it mandatory for any leader, any governor, any chairman of council to see it as a duty that on regular basis there must be meeting point, direct meeting point with the people you are governing, not until election period. That's the only time we have interactions with our leaders. That's why they will come to our house, to our streets, to our community, to our ward, because they are soliciting for our support and vote. And that's about the only time people have opportunity of actually interfacing with their leaders. They will sit down with you and they will listen to you, and they will even make some promises. So I think there should be a platform, maybe once in a year, maybe quarterly, for us as people to interact with our leader. And if they are found wanting, we should clearly have an avenue to challenge them, not necessarily going to court, because court might take longer time. There must be an arrangement, a mechanism to be put, so that we have, oh, if I go here, I will get justice.
Okay, like you said earlier, since the senators have an avenue that they do communicate, which is the town hall, what do you suggest the government can do to carry citizens along in whatever they do?
You see, executives have better opportunities than legislatures. That's just the truth. Because executives are in control of the media. They are in control of various structures, various organs, and various MDAs. That is ministry and departments and agencies of government. So they are in control. And in most cases, executives are equally in touch with the grassroots through the chairman of council. They are national level through the governors of states. So I think if our governors, our president, our chairmen are actually ready to imbibe that democratic tendency of giving people feedback, I think it will help them a lot. And how can they do it? We talk about town hall meeting.
Yes.
It's the easiest. It's the easiest to be done. We might not be able to actually see face to face our governors, our president. That might be difficult.
Yes.
But they have every right to delegate their responsibility to their subordinates. Oh, my commissioner, represent this go to your local government. Have a meeting with them. Help us compile and collate. What are the demands? In which area do they actually want us to come and assist them? So that once, as a commissioner from, let's say, Ondo West now, you collate the demands in a public gathering, demands of your people, and you bring it to the state executive council meeting for discussion, or even for compilation, so that they will have a database. What do they need in Ondo West local government? We will know. At a glance, we know what to be done for that local. Take, for instance, now, when the new government came on board in Nigeria, now they were talking about palliatives, and they were having issue with the database. It's a serious problem in Nigeria. Some were saying the one that was done by President Muhammadu Buhari should be used. They said no, that one was not far-reaching.
So they want to create
another one. So what I'm saying, of course, that if our government see that as a top priority, there should be a database. What do we want in Ondo State? They should have it at their finger. They should be able to clear and say, oh, these are the things they want in Ondo State. These are the things they want in Oyo State. Then what do they want even in Ondo Central? We should be able to know without even saying you want to start another. Just click button of your computer, you get the information. Exactly. Citizens. So you know what should be done for Ondo Kingdom, for Ondo Central, what should be done for Osun West in Osun State. So that, because lack of data, lack of communication, lack of feedback, lack of allowing people to participate in governance is actually affecting our governors, our president. Take for instance now, when they have a project in a place, that project might not suit the purpose, the needs of the people in that area. And the project will just become a white elephant project that will be abandoned after they might have left office.
When people are, for example, people are craving for water and they are doing road.
Road, exactly. People are talking about motor park, you are bringing markets. But if you actually allow people to participate in governance, in our area, we don't need motor park. We are used to Okada, we are used to Marua, but give us markets. Oh, here we need road. And I think it will equally reduce wastage in governance. Because if you know what a particular community needs, you will do exactly that thing for them. Not that just because you want to impress people that you are working, you bring a very giant project to a place, and at the end of the day, it was abandoned. If you look at some of the market built by a former governor of Ondo State, Governor Mimiko, some of the market today are abandoned. Because in most places, the markets were built, those places do not need markets.
They need another thing.
Another thing entirely. But they had expended public fund on such projects. So what we are saying, of course, is that our government should believe that our participation, people participating in governance, is going to assist them. And it's going to reduce wastage in governance.
Okay, this is a very interesting question. Is it really possible to have citizen participation in governance in the normal way, which is elected, swearing in, inaugurated, without having them participate in the process that leads to governance, which is politics?
All of us cannot be politicians.
Yes.
All of us, is not possible for us to be politicians. Though all of us want to be politicians, but which is not even the best for us. There are various ways in which one can participate in governance. That you are participating in governance does not make you a politician. We have social critics, we have human rights activists, we have labor leaders, and we have people who are just freelance. So, but if government actually provide platform for us to ventilate, for instance, our anger, I tell you, to help the government so much. Look at what happened in Niger Republic. Yes, had there been, there was a feedback mechanism, that is people's participation in governance, maybe what happened in Niger Republic might not happen. And you discover that people in Niger Republic were jubilating when military took over a democratically elected government, because they were not enjoying the government, because the federal government was not listening to them.
Yes.
So what we are saying here, of course, that there must be a mechanism. If actually we want our democratic process to triumph, we want it to have a firm root. Developed world, they have feedback mechanism in developed world, and their leaders, they do not see themselves as detached from the people they are governing. But in Nigeria particularly, the moment I become, say, chairman of a council now, I believe I become a superhuman,
yes,
an hero. That I do not want to believe I have a past. I want to live a new life, and that is why they don't have meaningful development, in their communities. So what we are saying, of course, is that our leaders should ensure that they allow people to participate actively in governance, and when they are participating, their opinion should be considered, and they should equally be giving us feedback. If we comment, maybe I criticize government now, government should find time to respond. Just like what we are experiencing now in Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government now. They are trying to react to public criticism. They will not wait. And in the last 2 months and a half, President had addressed us at least 2 times.
2 times.
So averagely once in a month,
Yes.
which was unprecedented. And there was a time the government of Tinubu said they wanted to be giving people 80,000 naira per household,
Yes.
about 2 million or so. And people said no. And instantly the government said, well, people said no, and we are no longer doing that. That is kind of feedback we are talking about. That government should not see themselves as insulated from the people. Once people are complaining, once people are, criticizing your policy, yes, if you believe, oh, they are having point, and instantly, and you see, in Nigeria today, people are not actually comfortable with the various policies of the current government. But because that government is updating us almost every day, the government is in the news almost every day, which was unprecedented. There is no single day that they will not talk about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, talk about federal government. Every day, activities are going, and people are seeing that, well, there are movements, they are taking steps. Well, let's give them benefit of that. If it were to be before, people would have gone mounting roadblocks, barricades. NSC tried it, and when they met the president, NSC and TUC told them, and they said, well, we are convinced that we don't have somebody who knows what he's doing, who is capable. If it were to be before, president would not meet anybody. He will say they should go to places, soldier, police, DSS, road safety, clear them. But in the current dispensation, the government is interfacing, and as we are speaking now, National Assembly is talking with the leadership of the labor unions on the reason why they should not. NMA just call off they wanted to embark on protest. Government call them. That's kind of what I say. People must be allowed to participate in governance. If you are doing that, it will make your job to be simpler. So if you can sustain the trend in which Nigeria is going, I think our democracy will be a role model in the world.
Okay, moving on. Do you think failure of democracy is the cause of political apathy?
In Africa?
Yes.
Because in the developed world, there's no political apathy in the developed world, because whatever their leaders are doing are transparently done.
Yes,
and they are monitoring them and they are criticizing them. Then in the developed world, well, let me answer that question this way. I think that the problem, of course, is lack of exposure is affecting us. 2, economic situation is affecting us. Lack of exposure means that we are not exposed to certain technological know-how that is abound in developed world. In developed world now, before you do anything, you see it on social media. At the clip of anything, you get information of what you want to get.
Yes.
But to date in Africa, particularly in Nigeria, those facilities are not yet in vogue as expected. If you are very familiar with social media thing, because like before you get information in Nigeria, people in Europe, in America would have gotten information before. They will be informing you. Are you aware? Do you know? And they'll be posting it. So it shows the level of their technology know-how, which we don't have here. And once you don't have information, it will be difficult for you to confront or challenge anybody. So I think our people should be more interested in equipping themselves with required facilities and information. Once they have information about what is going on, it will be easy and possible for them to challenge and question their leaders. And I think if you do that, it's to our advantage. If we remove our party from our body policy, if we are concerned about what happens in our government, I think it will help us. And let me say this: when you say we should not be, we should remove our party, we should not be focusing state governments. We should not be focusing our federal government. We should first start from our streets, because to me, governments start from our homes.
Our homes, yes.
Family is a unit of a community. A community is component of a local government. So if in your house you are maintaining law and order, for instance, in your streets, there is time for everybody to come into the streets.
Yes.
You are violating that. You are not leading by example. In your street, you do not attend street meeting. And when you are even in meeting, you will not contribute anything. You just keep quiet. You will say, I have nothing to say. You contribute money or you eat and go. You must have something to say. Then when issue happen in your street that you're supposed to come out and solve it, you say, well, I'm not concerned. I have what I want to do. I'm so busy. So failure is starting from your streets. If our streets are okay, if our communities are okay, our state will be okay. Because we collate whatever is our challenges to our local governments. If I ask some of our people now to tell us the name of the chairman of their local, they don't know. If you ask our people that your street is in which ward, they don't know.
They don't know, and that is very bad.
Very bad. We must know. If you ask people now, all of us, now your voter's card, what is the number of your polling unit? We don't know. I just know that I'm voting at so place. We must be concerned. So what I'm saying, of course, is that change must start with you and I. We should first put ourselves.
That we want.
Exactly, we want from ourselves. Now, in my locality, I want to be aware, fully aware of the happenings in this community. We have some people now that, what's the name of Oshemawe of Ondo Kingdom? People do not know. I just know it's Oshemawe. Ask people that, where is the Secretariat of Ondo West Local? They don't know. That's the truth.
Okay, is there any benefit to citizens participating in government?
Yes, so many benefits. So many. One, you will know what your government is planning for you. 2, government will know what should be done for various communities. Because their needs will be factored into whatever they want to do. 3, there will be less friction, less crisis, less problem. Once there's no communication gap, I will not have any reason to believe government is not doing anything. I don't have any reason to suspect my leader or commissioner or governor. Then 4, things will be done in a manner that development will be rapid. At that level, I will believe that this government is my government. Whatever I have or I can do to help the government, I will do. What we have now is that we believe that some people are the one that is governing us. I'm not concerned about them. That's a problem. I try as much as possible to use opportunity that I have, which is not the case in development. In America, for instance, now, before you pray for yourself, you say, God bless America.
Yes.
That's orientation. They have made them to believe that you are the owner of this America, not us. All of us, we are joint owners of America, not us. And the first thing you must do is that pray for America. That if America is blessed, if the land is blessed, you'll be blessed. But in Nigeria, no. You pray for yourself first, and you do not even care about Nigeria.
Yes.
You don't care. But then Nigeria can go to blazes until we change our orientation. We must take Nigeria as our private estate, private property. If something is your property, you don't want the property to be spoiled, to be destroyed. You guard it jealously. It's my no, don't touch it. It's my property. So until Nigerians see Nigeria as their private estate, private property, it's my property. But that can only happen if our government is up and doing. If our government gives us a sense of belonging. If our government believes that our participation is key, and whatever they are going to do is in accordance with what we want, our aims and aspirations, our demands, what our locality wants, not what they want because of what they want to get from that project. Our just must not, if they are not selfish, you are coming to those states, you must meet the grassroots people. We have obas, we have chiefs, we have community leaders, we have sectional heads, and we have others who are stakeholders. If you call them to a meeting, they will tell you frankly what are the things their community wants. If you do that, I tell you, we will see Nigeria as our project. In America can, because of a citizen, commit the whole military of that country to save that person.
Yes.
So they believe that America is one, and that person must not be allowed to suffer alone. Everybody must join and ensure that justice is done for that person.
Yes. Okay, this is a question that viewers at home will have interest on. Is there a difference between power and politics?
Politics is the activities of people to govern their people. That's politics. And that's why we have political parties that we are aspiring to take over power through legitimate means. Power is the authority that I have to govern or to rule or to administer a government, a state. And power could be a democratic process or military coup. Like in the Republic as we speak now, military junta are taking over. They are having power. That's power. But they are not having legitimate authority. Authority is only derived from democratic process. Or power is what you can get by yourself. That's exactly what happened in Benin Republic now. Niger Republic. Now, they have power, but they are not politicians. They have power. So, politics is different from power.
Okay, going back to citizen participation in government, yes. We all know that voting is one of the ways citizens participate in governance. How do you think the citizen can hold elected candidates accountable for their actions and policies while in office?
Well, Nigerians or citizens must first realize that their participation in politics is enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution. That's chapter 2. It's enshrined there. Though it's not justiciable, but it's in the Constitution. That every citizen must participate in the political activities or governance of the state. And it will be difficult for me to give what I don't have. Our political leaders for now do not see citizens' participation as important because they have their own agenda, which is to subjugate us as long as they want. Yes, because if our participation is encouraged, that means we'll be checking them from time to time. That means they will not have any place again because we'll be monitoring what they are doing. Because they owe us a duty to be giving us feedback on a regular basis. Like I said, the current government of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, almost every day we are being updated about what is happening in governance. So it's difficult for us to believe that government is not doing anything. When we are even not happy with the suffering first subsidies unleashing on us, because it's not easy at all. But people are just enduring. That from what feedback we are getting from presidency, from federal government, we are hopeful that there is light. Oh, exactly. That there is light at the end of the tunnel. That's the essence of allowing people to participate. If people are participating in governance, if governor, president, chairman allows, I tell you, it will lessen their burden, reduce friction, reduce suspicion, and government will have time look at when President Tinubu addressed us. He said he could feel our pains. He said if he had another option, he would have, but there was no other option. And somebody now said, somebody who was his critic said for the first time he was touched by an address of a president, that he talked as somebody who truly felt our pains. That's a sense of feedback. As I said, in the last 2.5 months, he has spoken to Nigerians twice, even 3 times, May 29. So what I'm saying here, of course, is that we must, the governors, the president must allow people to participate. If that is done, it will reduce tension. It will give them time to focus on developmental projects. It will give them time to focus on governance. So my appeal, of course, is, well, to people and the the governors, that we too should be alive to our responsibilities, to ourselves and to our community, by ensuring that we monitor activities of government. And yes, I understand that our economy is not actually good to allow us to do that. For instance, for you to monitor activity, you need to have data 24/7, yes. And data is costly. Then your phone must be on 24/7. There's no light. So we have a lot of challenges that's making all these things difficult.
And if they want to go for another option, which is generator, there's
fuel is expensive. So it's called that for now, unlike in the developed world that they have all these things that are back and we don't have it yet. Then what is more is the level of poverty in Nigeria is so high. Somebody who is thinking about how to make a living for his family or her family will not be thinking about what happens in the next door. And don't forget that in the olden days, during our fathers and mothers' era, you see, they were living a communal life. That is, whatever happens in your family is of concern to me, and vice versa. But today, me and my family alone. Yes. That's why then there was organization, there was peace. Because if anything happens in the next door, I'll be concerned. I will take steps. I will take charge. And I'm not going to wait for the parent of that person before I act. If anything, let's say road now requires for them to repair. Yes. I don't need to wait for you. I will do little I can. And when you have a community meeting, I will say it. And from that meeting, we will do it communally. And it's still happening in our villages. When they have road reconstruction or they want all of them, no, today we are not going to work. Yes. So that's a sense of allowing people to be involved in governance. If it happens, we all enjoy it.
Okay, lastly, how do you think the general masses can create a synergy of power and smooth running of affairs with the government in an effective way for a better country, especially in Nigeria?
Well, thank you very much. That has to start with the electioneering process. That's like what happened in the last general election. For the first time, Nigerians voted according to their conscience, voted according to who they wanted. For the first time. If you look at the pattern of that election, it has never happened before.
Yes.
So I want to encourage our people to sustain that. That in electing our leaders, we should ensure that our vote counts. Now, if your vote counts and you elect people of your choice, then that means it will be easier for you to call them to question about the way they are doing affairs of the states. Then again, our people must know that after election, we must put everything behind us and believe the election has come and gone. We now have leaders, and all of us must join hands because they are now our leaders. No matter if you vote or you don't vote for them, they are now our leaders. We must join hands together and support and work for that. Then the leaders, the governors, must, when I say governor, I'm not talking about governor of a state, those who are governing us, must must believe that election is over. They should not now be discriminatory. They should not believe what A did not vote for me, C voted for me, and I will not do anything for it. No, it should be national. It should be nationalistic. Very, very important. Then after election, our people should now come together and be monitoring the government at various levels, and they should form themselves into various blocks, various organizations, to ensure that they are monitoring and they are feeding people, because we don't have information about what government is doing. But after election, everybody will just go back to our various workplace. So people should be monitoring government. Then the social, community service organization should equally be up and doing to ensure that they are feeding people about what government is doing, because all of us cannot be involved in that aspect. Some people must take it upon themselves to ensure that. And the problem we have in Nigeria is that these groups are concentrated in Lagos, Ibadan, Port Harcourt. They are supposed to be in all the state capitals, so that they will be monitoring what each state is doing and be blowing it open for us to know and see. So finally, I think it's a gradual process. If we are able to survive this democratic process, I have no doubt in my mind that very soon things will be okay for us as Nigerian people.
Thank you very much, Barrister. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Okay, let's take Nigeria as our private property, as my guest has said, and also don't forget that will happen if our government also hear our needs. And also the change we want must start with you and I. That will be all on Daybreak Africa for today. Join us next time. I am Yetunde Alanamu.